Last week, we talked about the second prayer that Jesus prayed in the Garden of Gethsemane. We learned that Jesus learned obedience through submission. But today we're going to talk about why is it so important for Jesus and for us to learn obedience. So if you guys are ready, let's get started. Welcome. I am Abigail Estrada, and these are our extension classes for student ministry. We are here to help our teens start their walk with Christ and strengthen their relationship with God. If you are interested in these kind of videos, I encourage you guys to hit the subscribe button and for more content like this. So, why is it important to learn obedience? First, let's look at Jesus. Why is it important for him to learn obedience? So, if Jesus didn't obey and follow the will of his Father, then everything would have been in vain. His 30 some years of life here on earth would have been in vain. The ministry he did in his 3 years when he started his ministry on earth would have also been in vain. Everything would have been in vain. He didn't want to die. And we see this in his prayer when he said, in the very end, let your will be done. What was about to come next wasn't just death, but was also suffering that he was going to go through as well. So, that we can be born again and receive the blessings and promises that come along, not only with his death, but the suffering that he walks through throughout the journey to the cross. It was so important for Jesus to learn obedience for us. And the thing is that if he didn't learn obedience in the Garden of Gethsemane, the moment he had started getting whipped, the moment he had started getting people started trying to humiliate him throughout his walk through the journey to the cross, every little thing could have possibly had been a moment when everything would have stopped. So he needed to learn obedience in the very beginning, before the beings, before they tried to humiliate Jesus, before the trial, before hit the crucifixion. He needed to learn obedience before. And the thing is that when it comes to us, we're the same way. We need to learn obedience before the trial happens, because the thing is when we try to learn obedience while it's happening, we will not be successful. We need to learn obedience now. We need to learn obedience through submission. God doesn't want us to surrender only when it benefits us. He doesn't want us to obey when we see the benefits of it. And the thing is that that's how we've learned obedience over the years. We obey our teachers when they give us an incentive. We obey our teachers when they tell us treats, or they promise a pizza party. We obeyed our parents when they gave us an incentive of an allowance or whatnot. Or we obeyed when they told us, hey, you do this and you won't need to do this. We obeyed when there was incentives, when there was benefits for ourselves. And God does not want that from us. He wants someone who comes with a willing heart, someone that does it all on their own. He wants us to show him that we trust him, our confidence in him. That is what he wants to see in us. In order to have access to the blessings and promises in our lives, we need to learn how to live in submission and obedience. That is what Christ and what God asks for us. When we're talking about obedience and learning obedience in our relationship with God, we're seeing that this is one of the very foundations that we need to learn. In order for us to live the life that God wants us to live, we need to learn obedience. And in order to learn obedience, we need to learn submission. And the thing is that Christ not only demonstrated the importance of that when he was in the Garden of Gethsemane, and really in all his life, in his walk, we're seeing obedience at work. But what he did in Gethsemane was not only did he demonstrate to us the importance of obedience, but he learned it himself. But when it was the critical moment. But the thing is that he gave us a way so that we can live in obedience. And the thing is, we might say, but Jesus was perfect. Why did he have to learn obedience in the garden right when the night he's about to die, or the morning he's about to die? Why is it that he had to learn obedience then? Didn't he know obedience before? But it comes down to one important fact. Obedience is simple. Obedience is easy when your life is not on the line. Obedience is it's simple to do when you see the benefits. But the problem with obedience at this moment, at this very pivotal little moment, is that in this moment it could have break everything. It could make or break everything. And Jesus had a choice to make. Jesus needed to learn another level of obedience. And this is us right now in the Christian life with God. We've learned the world's definition of obedience. And we talked about this last week. So if you guys are interested in that, go ahead and go to that last week's episode. But the thing is that what God wants from us is another level of obedience. He doesn't want a surrendered obedience. He wants a submitted obedience. He wants an obedience that is not doesn't come from something that's obligated, oppressed, pressure to, made to obey. He wants us with a willing heart obey him, obey his word, to live the life in obedience, and not just in anything, but obeying him and his word. That's what he wants us to obey. So why is obedience important? Because the thing is that if we want to receive the blessings, if we want to receive the promises of God, we need to learn to live in obedience. We need to learn to live in obedience so that we can learn how to apply, receive the blessings and promises of God. I hope this is helpful to you guys. Again, my name is Abigail Estrada. I hope to see you guys next time. God bless you.